Going to set my timer to make sure I'm good and I'm well behaved for Louise. Hello everyone, my name's Kate Tantum. I'm a specialist sister in intensive care rehabilitation down at University Hospitals Plymouth, and I'm thrilled to be joined on the stage by my colleagues Diane and Mel, who are both from our neonatal intensive care team. We're here to talk to you about the Secret Garden being a fresh air space for everyone. So we want to start off with where the Secret Garden came from, and of course it came from a patient. So this is Andrew. Andrew was with us back in 2018. He was working abroad and sustained a high spinal cord injury after being mugged. He was repatriated to us after a month in intensive care in Africa where he was hurt. And then because of lots of complex infection control measures, he was isolated in one of our side rooms. Andrew describes himself as an outdoor person, and he was absolutely broken to be in a calm side room in intensive care. So we were working super hard to make sure we could get Andrew back to the things and people he loved, which is his family and his dogs. So at that point in our garden journey, we only had a light well that was down a set of lifts, and it was a non-private space. It was a public space with no real facilities, and we were limited significantly being able to take our patients outside because of battery power. So Andrew said to us, what I really want to do, Kate, is I really want to go outside and I want to help you make a garden so I can go outside. So in true co-design fashion, we asked him if he could help us design our garden, and he did. I'm really proud to say that Andrew's rehabilitation goal was to get to his daughter's graduation, and he made it, and now his amazing family and his daughter now work in the organisation as one of our nurses. But during his recovery process, he supported us with a co-design project of an intensive care bed space in a walled garden. So we are really lucky in Plymouth to have a fully compliant intensive care bed space with medical gases, air, Wi-Fi, plugs, you name it, we've got it. We've got skylights in the ceiling, so we can have our spinal cord injury patients lying in the sun or under the stars if that's what they need. We've floor-to-ceiling glass, we've got a vegetable patch, and we are thinking laterally about how we can use our garden to optimise our patients' experience in the organisation. But what does the evidence base say? Well, we know that there isn't actually very much evidence base about the use of fresh air spaces in hospital, and we wanted to change that and we want to make that better. But we know for our patients it absolutely reduces their level of stress. It supports mood, depression, anxiety. It supports their capacity to recover and to cope, because it re-engages them with what their rehabilitation process might look like, and it absolutely supports them with social interaction. So we knew that this is really important, and we also know it's really important for our staff. So we started this process back in 2018, and then something a bit cheeky came along and made it a bit difficult. So within 6 months of Andrew helping us, we had the architects in, we started getting the pack together to get the hospital to support us with a charity fund to be able to start this work, and then COVID hit. And then our garden changed, actually. Our garden changed to be a place for everyone, including our staff. And I'm very proud to say that we were the first centre in the UK to take COVID patients outside while fully ventilated. And remember, this is a time before vaccination. So can you imagine how hard it was to get those patients outside that day in full PPE? And it was actually quite sunny. So it took us a while. It took us about £800,000, £500,000 more than we expected because of COVID costs. But we finally started building in 2022, January 2022. And we opened on December the 2nd, 2022. And what do we use our garden for now? We use it for everything. Anything you can do in hospital, we will do. And I don't care how sick you are, or where you are on your recovery trajectory, or where you are on your trajectory of life, we will take you outside and optimise your experience of being in hospital. So we use it for family-centred goals, we use it for family reunions, we use it for normal activity. We had a patient who was ventilated potting up daffodils relatively recently. We use it for weddings, we use it for parties, we use it for staff, we use it for yoga, we use it for mindfulness, we use it for rehabilitation. We use it to support our multi-drug resistant organism patients' access to a fresh air space and more space versus being limited in one of their side rooms. And we also support end-of-life care. And that's end-of-life care for neonates, for children, for adult inpatients, and for anyone who needs our garden at any point. And it's also a massive support for our staff. But what we wanted to do today is we wanted to share some of our stories of our neonatal babies. And this is new work that we've just started doing in the last 6 months. So I'd like to welcome my neonatal colleagues to tell you some stories. Oh, Christmas, I forgot our ponies. Goodness me, how could I forget the ponies? We also throw a very good pony party at Christmas for our paediatric patients and our animal-assisted therapy. And we've also written national guidelines. See, I got too excited about sharing all of our stories. So the other thing that we've tried really hard to do is to be able to make sure we can maximise this for other centres. So we've written national guidance on supporting intensive care patients to go outside. Because it's no good that it's good for our Plymouth patients, I want it as good in Preston and as good in Penzance. Now's our story. Sorry, I got overexcited.
That's okay. Thank you very much. My name's Mel and I'm a consultant neonatologist, and I have to say that our working together in Plymouth, so between neonatal intensive care and the adult intensive care, is amazing, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm going to tell you about a little boy called Leo. So he was on the neonatal intensive care unit in Plymouth last summer. He was on our unit for 3.5 weeks. He was born prematurely, and it became quite clear in those few weeks that he was with us that he had a life-limiting condition. Now, that is something that's devastating for any family, as you can imagine. And one of my roles was to actually talk to his mum and dad about limiting his life-sustaining treatment in his last few days. And one aspect of that that is really important to us is talking to them about wishes. Is there anything that is really important to that family that they need to achieve in their baby's short life? Now, that can be lots of different things. For lots of families, it might be christening, it might be grandparents meeting the baby. But for Leo's parents, it was going outside. They really wanted him to experience sunshine, air, plants, etc. Luckily, that's something that I knew that we could try and achieve, but he's one of those patients that he was on so much support, it was going to be really hard, and using a really good team. And we did it. And on this picture, you can see he's with his mum and dad in the lovely reclining chair, a lot of equipment and our team. And we managed to be in the garden for quite a few hours, actually, that evening. And his parents completely changed when we were there. They were like different people. They were so uplifted, they were so happy. And that little boy is incredible in that we managed to get him back on the neonatal unit. He survived that night and then died really peacefully with his parents the next day. And it was lovely. And another thing that was really lovely is on his first birthday, so this summer, I received this really beautiful handmade card from his mum, and on it, it said, it was really special to be able to go to the secret garden with Leo, and it is one of our favourite memories with him. For us, that's incredible. So, really special stories. I'm going to hand over to Diane.
I've just been given my 1-minute warning, so I feel really bad, but I really desperately want to share another story with you. So I hope what you can see from this picture, first of all, the irony of the secret garden at UHP is it's not a secret. Everybody knows about the secret garden, which is fantastic because we all get to use it and we know it's there as an offer of care for these families. However, it's not easy, and I hope you can see from these pictures as well as Leo's story that it isn't easy, but sometimes that courage gains momentum. And having had Leo out in the garden, the next time we thought we could do this again. So Ruby's story is a little bit different in that Mum was expecting a perfectly normal term baby, and unfortunately that didn't happen for her. This was her 3rd pregnancy. She lived near a park, and what she shared with us afterwards, actually, after she'd had Ruby, we realised that Ruby was not going to live, is that all she'd wanted to do was go to the park. And we were like, we haven't got a park, but we've certainly got a secret garden. And this, you have to bear in mind our neonates, they come into intensive care, all they often experience is light, horrible lights, not even nice lights, sounds, smells, everything's artificial, and the sound of those horrible alarms, and that's all she could recognise. So we took the Ruby outside as well, and what you can see, which is this bottom left-hand corner, which is lovely, you can just see the bit of a picnic. So her two of the siblings were actually outside with her, playing, and so that was the nearest she ever got to the park. And I still get upset about that now, it's really bad, but actually for us, we're really proud that we could offer that. But we're going to take the momentum, we're going to take it even further. As you say, it is a team effort. We are absolutely gifted to have a great team with ICU, but we're actually proving it matters. We're taking our work onwards, we're taking it to conferences where we can get the opportunity to share our voice, and we also want to empower you guys to be able to do similar things in your organisations so that everybody has this offer. So we are going to make fresh air space for a possibility for everyone, a real option for all of our families. At the moment, we've used it for end-of-life care, but it should be an option for everybody, because you say, especially our NICU patients who only ever get to see inside. And we're going to start building our evidence base. We're going to start talking to these families, capture that, and actually start to make some real research findings.
So I think our final point is it's really hard to build a garden, but it really matters. And we want you, hopefully, at the end of this, to feel that you can bring this to your patients and your loved ones and your colleagues. Thank you very much.
Stay there, please.